So another problem that people are having is, how do you declare a winner? How do you know that a certain turtle has won, right? So how can we do that? Well, the turtle has a functionality called, has a method called xcore. So what I can do is, right after Dan moves forward, I can check. And I can check Dan's xcore, .xcore, short for x coordinate, and I can check if it is greater than a certain number. And so I'm going to say 200 right here, but this number should be the same number that your finish line is drawn at, right? And if that's true, then what do I want to do? I probably want to print out something like Dan wins, right? Oh, like that. Okay. And let's see if that works. I want to change this to 60, and I'm going to change this to 40 just to ensure that Dan is going to win, and I'll run it. And it says right here, Dan wins, right? But you notice here it says Dan wins 5 times, right? And why is that? It's because after Dan wins, it comes back into the for loop, and this is true again because he's past the finish line, and it prints out Dan wins again. And then it for loop, for loop, for loop, for loop, and that's why we get the extra Dan wins. So we don't want that to happen, right? So what you can do is say break. Okay, and what's break do? It breaks out of the nearest loop. So right after Dan wins, passes the finish line, it breaks out of the loop and stops the program. So I do that. And it says Dan wins once, right? And it stops. Okay, so that's that. And another thing is right here when you print Dan wins, we don't want to print it here on the console. We want to print it on the palette, right, on the screen. So we need to use this same technique right here, where we're going to use the turtle.write method to print out the winner, right? And so if you notice, for every turtle you have, you're going to need to check if they pass the finish line and then act appropriately. So in this case, I have 2 turtles. It would be like Dan move, check. Pan move, check, right? In your program, I think you have 8 turtles. So it'd be like, you know, turtle 1, check. Turtle 2, check. Turtle 3, check. Turtle 4, move, check. So that's how the finish line's going to go. And then, I'm sorry, that's how the winner is going to be determined. And then another thing is right here when you print out Dan wins, yeah, you can do that actually. And a good way to do this would be to have Dan print out the winner, right? So you say Dan.write, and then you'll have Dan write the winner, so that you don't need to be confused about like who is Dan, because it'll write it right above the turtle, right? So that's about it.